Welcome to another installment of Epiphyllum's Playhouse. This is Chris. I'm going to show you guys how to trellis a upright growing epi in a pot, and by using a galvanized tomato cage. So what you need is, I prefer a 1 gallon black plastic pot, preferably with 6 holes in the bottom. The reason being is you only have 3 prongs on the galvanized steel cage, pliers. You're going to need some pea gravel or some rocks. I've got some really nice gravel here. I'll show you here. It's about 1 inch in diameter, give or take about an inch or so. Already washed out. A plant to do your bidding with, and just a little bit of time. Now these will actually stand up when you get them done. However, you can also hang them from the tomato cage if you reinforce your tomato cage a little bit, and that'll be for a future video. First thing you want to do is make sure you got holes, drainage, and your pot's good. Next thing you want to do is take the tomato cage, and what I like to do is I like to bend one of the prongs. I usually like to leave about 3 inches or so, and I bend it at a 90-degree angle, and do the other ones at the same angle and at the same length. That way the tomato cage doesn't flip. Now you can always rebend, like that one right there I screwed up, so I'll rebend it. But you want to get them so they're essentially the same. See that? Okay. Next thing you do is you stick it into the pot and you put them in one of the 3 drain holes, or 3 of the 6 drain holes. Now this is going to be a little bit fun, but when you do it, just kind of take it easy. It's not that hard, it's not rocket science. Push them all out, make sure you got it all pretty much even, the way I've got it right there. And then, you bend them back up. Now this will give a little bit of support, but the rocks will also give some support too. You bend them up. Galvanized steel cages, they don't cost that much and they're really easy to bend. Once I get them bent, what I'll do then is I'll push the bends through, and you can see, move that closer for you, you can see how much they come out just like this. That's where I have the pliers. And I crimp them down. In fact, I'll get a little bit closer so you can see this. I crimp them down really good. So then, they're like that. They're just right there. They're hugging the pot. Instead of that, you push it up a little bit, crimp it with the pliers. Leave a little bit of space, okay? And the reason you're doing that is not only does it grab the pot edge, but if you decide to actually hang it, it'll actually support more of the pot. You do the other one, just like so. Get it all crimped up. Pull the pot down. There you got a pot, you set it down, you make sure that it's level. It looks level enough for me. How about you guys? Okay, here's the next thing you want to do. Whenever you have a trellis pot like this, you always have to add bottom weight, because with the wind and everything else, it'll actually topple over if you use styrofoam, peanuts, or clay. What I like to use is that rock that I showed you a little bit earlier. And what I do is I actually put in fair amount. I'd say about, in these little plastic pots, I put in about, an inch or 2. Now I'm good. Now if you actually pick it up, it's actually got some weight to it, and if you actually hang it, it doesn't go everywhere. Next thing you want to do is take your plants that you got. These ones are courtesy of Epiphyllum's member. I have 2 of them. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that they're going to go in there. So you do a dry run. You put it all the way through, Make sure it'll go through. Okay, that one will go through. Then you got to try to get it out again without ripping everything off. And I've already tested the other one. The other one will go through too. Next thing you do is just regular potting. I got my potting soil on the ready right now, so I just throw in good old-fashioned epiphyllum dirt there. I put back in one plant. Get that thing all the way down in the bottom. And what you want to make sure is when you get it down in there, that you set it off to one side if you need to. You can always put leaves on the outside of the trellis and also stake them up to the outside of the trellis. All this is doing is just keeping them upright for yourself. You don't have to cage all of the plant inside it. You just need to be able to cage the plant so it can actually grow upright. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to take this growth right here, and by lightly bending it, if you hear it cracking, don't do it. But if you lightly bend it and wiggle it before you put the soil in, you can get it out just like that. You see how that was done? Perfect. So now we got one plant in there. Got another one. We put that in straight through the top. And I always try to put the branches on the outside, like the wayward branches, because you can always trellis them back onto here. You can always wrap them back on there, okay? You can't always take branches out from here without breaking them. Here comes the last one. I put that in there. I kind of tuck the roots down in there. I make sure that I want to be able to take that one out. So, like I said, lightly bend it. If you hear cracking, don't continue, unless you want cuttings. If you bend it back the other way and then bring it back in, it actually makes it a lot easier. So there we go. We've got the plant. It's trellised. Now all we have to do is just add the dirt. And this is just like a normal, run-of-the-mill potting frenzy here. You put the dirt in, shake the pot up, pat it a couple of times, make sure that the dirt gets all the way in there, make sure the roots are all covered. Make sure to have a work surface that you can easily clean out of. Because some people just don't like dirt in their garage. Now this was a plant, like I said, I got from a member, so it already had the roots, so I immediately have to water it, and I will do that after I'm done potting it. I always pat it down, always, just to make sure that all the soil gets down in there. And I'm not gentle about it either. I pat that thing down pretty damn good. And I fill soil all the way up. And there you go. Remember your name tag. Here in a little bit, I'll get some twine, and I'll put these up just so you can see them and such. But there you go. And then once the growth starts going a little bit bigger and a little bit faster, you can actually trellis it up, and you can actually put it onto the side of the tomato cage. I like using the tomato cages. They're cheap. They're readily available. Everyone's got them at a home improvement store, a garden center, and stuff like that. And the best thing about it is if you don't want it to be hanging, or you don't want it to be, on the ground, you can always hang it from the top, and watch that. And you can always let them drop, and you got an instant place for a hanger right there. To remove it, all you have to do is just take some wire cutters, snip, 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 and then you got a hanging plant. But most of my plants are like this. Saves time, saves space, Not only that, it actually makes for a good display plant. For Chris at Epiforms, you guys have a good one. I hope you learned a lot about trellising with tomato cages, and I'll have some more ideas here soon. Catch you in the flip.